I know one thing. I'm not sure of a lot, but I'm sure of my love for this next man. He writes for the Marina Times. He's a huge Giants and Warriors and San Francisco Niners fan. He comes and goes on a rainbow. How about it for the great Michael Snyder, everybody?
Hey, greetings and salutations, everybody. Mark, Kim, Albert, Tony, our wonderful, wonderful audience. And I want to start today by again wishing everyone a Merry Christmas. Yeah, I know. New Year's Eve is already gone. New Year's Day is gone. But it still ain't over by my ever accurate count. Today is the 12th day of the 12 days of Christmas. Which could mean we're in for an assault by a troop of 12 drummers drumming. So lock the studio door, Mark. We don't want any of that happening.
That would be ugly, yeah.
What it really means, though, is that tonight is 12th night, just like the Shakespeare play.
Oh, sure.
And you can finally drag that Christmas tree out to the curb. Also, tomorrow is the Feast of the Epiphany. You know, I'm Jewish, but I know about the Christian calendar.
I see.
The Feast of the Epiphany, January 6th, kicks off carnival season in New Orleans. That's why I know about the Feast of Epiphany. Rio, other places where good times are going to be had until Ash Wednesday brings Lent to all those who believe. And I believe in a good time, so get ready to party, people. Speaking of which...
Yes, sir.
A little belated happy birthday. I had the great honor and pleasure of joining you and Courtney and a bunch of your friends and colleagues for a little birthday gathering.
Oh, I don't recall that, but good for you. I might have been out for much of it.
You were blackout drunk, but you loved everybody.
I do love everybody. I still love everybody.
I'd be willing to bet my lunch that there's alcohol involved.
I'm filled with love.
Your friends are pretty wonderful, and they come from all walks of life.
Yes.
And anyway, I just had a great time, and I want to
thank you. All I can say, Michael, is it's always good to see you. But the real question I had for you was related to, I'll get to your Marina Times column in a moment, but was related to the Niners. Now, they don't need this game. You and the commissioner probably agree that our backup quarterback is probably better than their backup quarterback. Who are we playing this week?
Carson Wentz and the L.A. Rams. It's strange to say that insofar as Wentz was a Philadelphia Eagle, and then he's been bouncing around the league, and they want to sit Matt Stafford, their quarterback who...
Sure, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Took them to the Super Bowl, for God's sake. And obviously Kyle Shanahan, the Niners coach, wants to sit Brock Purdy to, kind of let those little dings heal up.
Speaking of dings, I'm being told that I should be dinging insofar as...
Oh, really?
I will... here's what I will say about insofar as. Michael just said that. Can't ding it because we only ding words, and that's a phrase. But... it is a kind of highfalutin phrase, insofar as. I mean, it's kind of a phrase you'd write more than you would say, but he is a writer, so we got to give him some room. Anyway.
I'm college educated, dude. I can't stop myself.
I see. Okay, very good.
All right. You know what? All I can tell you about the 49ers...
this is the longest analysis. What's going to happen?
I don't want the rust to get in the way of their
Our backups are better than their backups. Okay. Who's going to win?
I think the 49ers are going to win.
Thank you very much.
I hope they win because it would be ignominious. Hit the ding.
Oh, my God. That is a
if we were to lose. Right. Dude, let's talk about new movies before we get to the Marina Times column about the best movies of the year. And I go into a little sidebar about the worst. This is the dead zone in the movie industry. This is when potential failures, things that didn't test well, things that have been lying around on the shelf are released by the studios and the distributors. And that's what we have this weekend. But let's proceed. I feel like we should.
Well, please.
Okay, we've had horror movies about an evil possessed car, Christine, and an evil possessed dog, Cujo, both courtesy of author Stephen King's novels. And we've had horror movies about evil possessed dolls, the recent Annabelle films, and evil possessed ventriloquist dummies. Oh, they're so scary. Magic and Dead Silence. And now with Night Swim, we finally have a horror movie about an evil possessed swimming pool.
Wow. I can't wait to hear this premise. Go
Okay.
ahead.
There's never been anything like this.
It's going to drag you down into its depths if it doesn't like you splashing around in it. I
Wow.
mean, the premise is hilarious. I mean, I'm pretty sure that anyone pissing in the pool would piss it off, and there you go. Bye-bye.
I don't like the P word, but all right.
I'm
continue.
sorry. They might as well have titled
Yeah.
this thing the Backyard Swimming Pool of Doom or Breaststroke to Hell. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, what's next? Blades of Death about an evil electric lawnmower? I mean, consider this.
Actually, that's not a bad idea.
How about Tool Shed of No Return?
Wild idea, but it just might work.
Exactly. It's a wild idea.
The movie business is so in love with low-budget horror movies that any household item could be the big bad in some scary
That's
movie.
true, yes.
I mean, how about the Hungry Hungry Trash Compactor?
I love it.
Wait. Garbage dispose all. I mean, you don't want to be dragged into that thing. So anyway, let's get back to the weird movie at hand, Night Swim. A family led by former Milwaukee Brewers pitcher Ray Waller, played by Wyatt Russell. He of Monarch: Legacy of Monsters. Right now, he's the U.S. agent in the Marvel TV shows and movies. He was so good in Everybody Wants Some, the Richard Linklater film. He plays Ray, who moves into a suburban fixer-upper with an out-of-use swimming pool in the backyard, as you know, one has. And it needs a good cleaning insofar as it's all clogged with leaves and other crud. So
I see. It has to be cleaned up.
Yeah, Ray had to retire from baseball due to a degenerative disease, but after cleaning the pool and filling it, his wife, played by Kerry Condon of the Banshees of Inisherin, I mean, she's a terrific actress.
Right.
His high school-age daughter and junior high-age son start swimming, and the waters of the pool seem to energize Ray and put him into remission.
No.
But the pool doesn't seem
It's
so...
restorative. It's a positive thing.
No, the pool doesn't seem so friendly to the rest of the family, Mark.
Oh, only good to the one.
So, there's a Faustian situation here, as well as some backstory mumbo-jumbo. But
I'll ding Fausti.
the movie is pretty waterlogged. I mean, silly would be an appropriate word. I laughed.
So wait a minute. It makes one of the sick family members healthy again, but it kills off the other ones?
Well, no, I'm not going to go so far as to spoil it for any bonehead who wants to watch it.
Okay.
But honestly...
I'm kind of into it so far.
Look, I laughed a couple times as I watched it, although I rolled my eyes more frequently. Night Swim was written and directed by Bryce McGuire and based on a short film he made with a creative partner. It was also produced by those scamps who brought us Megan, which was much funnier and more fun, and The Nun, which was scarier. Dude, I watched this thing, and I didn't need artificial respiration when it was over, but I'm afraid it did kill my brain cell or two. Oh, my God. Night Swim is in theaters.
Phineas wants to know, did anyone pee in the pool?
See, I already brought that up.
I know, you didn't. I would have preferred that you bring it up as Phineas did with the P-E-E as opposed to the word that you chose.
Oh,
But
I'm
anyway.
so very sorry. I don't want to pee you off.
Thank you.
Let's move on. Rennie Harlan has directed some decent action flicks, among them Die Hard 2 and Cliffhanger, and some clunkers like the hilariously bad Cutthroat Island. But The Bricklayer, out this week in the early January, new movie Dead Zone, is one of those clunkers. This is the latest movie that gives its main character a pedestrian job delineated in the title. And it turns out that the guy is much more than he seems, generally being, a death-dealing, near-indestructible hero forced to fight against overwhelming odds using a certain set of skills.
I
That's
like
right.
it. Delineated as a ding word.
Liam Neeson stars in some of them, thus the reference to his certain set of skills.
Right.
But at least it feels like that's the sort of movie we have here. And by the way, the next movie like this after The Bricklayer is next week. It's The Beekeeper. I mean, they're going to keep rolling these movies out. Some bizarre job, and the guy has left the service, and he's pulled back in. Anyway, The Beekeeper features, by the way, hard-headed, no-nonsense ass-kicker Jason Statham, as you guessed it, the Beekeeper, and looks far more engaging and fun than The Bricklayer. And these movies do have a titular character out of the business for some reason.
Titular.
They're either retired or burned out or disgusted until circumstances, just like in The Godfather,
call you back
pull
in.
them back in.
Sure.
And so it is with The Bricklayer, which catches up with ex-CIA fixer Steve Vale, played by Aaron Eckhart, who's a pretty good actor, been in some good movies, and here he's happily building a brick wall on the roof of a Philadelphia building while listening to Miles Davis on his earbuds. He's a quirky guy.
All right.
But he won't be laying bricks for long after he finds out that an ex-colleague played by terrific character actor Clifton Collins Jr. has gone rogue in Greece, killing journalists and making it seem like the CIA is responsible. So a high-level CIA administrator, again, here's another good actor, played by Tim Blake Nelson, pressures Steve to take down the loose cannon, teams him with a female agent who has no experience in the field, and they set off for Greece to fix the situation and clear the agency of wrongdoing. That's right, Mark. They have to clear the CIA of wrongdoing.
That'll take more than one movie.
Good luck with that. Anyway, the main actors, all pros, including Nina Dobrev as the female agent. They go through their paces. They got to get that paycheck. And most of the action sequences are pretty snappy. But we have seen so many of these plot elements before. And every character is so thinly drawn and cliched that there is not any emotional punch to any of it. The bricklayer, more like the egg layer.
Wow, I see what you did.
It's not terrible, but that's the best thing I can say about it. The bricklayer is in theaters and streaming on the usual video-on-demand platforms.
Oh, it's streaming at the same time.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
they're rolling this baby out. They're not messing around. Okay, continuing this week's parade of mediocrity. There's
Mediocrity is a ding word.
the latest based on a true story movie about racing cars, the people who make them and the people who drive them. But unlike last year's high-profile auto race movies, Gran Turismo and Ferrari, both of which had merit and flair, Race for Glory, Audi versus Lancia, is a drag. And I don't mean as in Drag Race, the ones with cars, not the RuPaul version. I mean as dull. Race for Glory attempts to tell the tale with lots of invented dramatization to spice things up, one would presume, of the competition between car manufacturers Audi of Germany and Lancia of Italy, which reached a head when both companies faced off at the 1983 Rally World Championships in Europe. It seems that the company with the winning vehicle would, sell way more sports cars in the aftermath of the victory, so there was plenty on the line here. The well-regarded German leading man, Daniel Brühl, best known in the U.S. as a villain in The Kingsman and Baron Zemo in Marvel movies and TV shows, plays the head of the Audi team, while the rest of the cast, including Riccardo Scamarcio, who was in last year's Haunting in Venice as the Lancia exec, they do their best, but they're not familiar faces beyond Daniel Brühl. And it doesn't matter much because Race for Glory is short on palpable thrills and engaging characters. The supposedly high stakes never feel impactful. In fact, despite the kind of twisty road rally sequences through changing terrain, the movie feels like it's going in circles. And it's clearly a passion project for the director and co-screenwriter Stefano Mordini and Scamarcio, by the way, who was also listed as a screenwriter. But it's curiously short on passion. Race for Glory is in theaters and available on streaming platforms.
Yeah. Didn't really like Race for Glory. How about what else do you have to offer?
I do have one more movie, and guess what? It's the best movie of this quartet of releases and the only one I can recommend with any enthusiasm.
Quartet, I will ding. Go ahead.
Quartet? Really? Okay. The movie's called Mayhem, and it's a French production about a boxer named Sam who's been incarcerated in a Paris area prison for drug offenses, gets paroled, immediately finds himself in worse trouble than he was before and is forced to flee the country, ending up in Thailand. And there, this generally decent guy finds honest work, falls in love with single mother Mia, and takes on the role of father to her adorable daughter, Dara.
But he gets pulled back in.
Well, Sam and Mia want to buy some beachfront property and build a restaurant, but finances are tight, and to get enough cash
One
for the
last
land
fight.
deal, Sam agrees to do a risky job that is not, a boxing thing. Although while in Thailand, he participates in kickboxing matches to make a little scratch and even throws them for a little bit of a, pardon the expression, kickback. But in this case, it's not that.
Oh, it's got to kill somebody?
Yeah, he's agreeing to do this risky job for a local crime boss named Narong, who is a fellow French expat. So do you think things are going to go wrong and force Sam to somehow make things right? Does John Wick shoot people? I mean, let's be honest about this thing. You know where this thing is going. So Nassim Lee is spring-loaded as Sam, and the venerable French actor Olivier Gourmet is his usual compelling self as the sinister mobster. The copious martial arts fight sequences, which also include guns, knives, meat cleavers, and swords, are crackerjack and true to the title, mayhem. And here, the emotional content, which is centered around Sam, Mia, and Dara, is genuinely affecting, unlike these other films we've already discussed. Mayhem was well directed by Xavier Jens, who also co-wrote the script. It may be a violent B-movie, but it's one of the good ones. And yes, it's mostly in French and Thai with a bit of English, so it will require you to read subtitles between the acrobatics, punches, and stabbing. If you like this sort of diversion, it'll be worth it.
Wow.
It's in theaters and available on streaming platforms.
Isn't that interesting? So Michael has recommended Mayhem, the boxer turned lover of this woman and her child. And
pulled back in. He doesn't want to get involved in crime anymore, but he has no choice.
He has to do something. I mean, we're all faced with tough decisions in life. It is the best of the lot. Michael says Mayhem is in theaters and also on streaming platforms. Race for Glory, Audi versus Lancia, is the film that was well shot, well executed, but has no heart. And Michael can't really recommend it.
No, it's kind of dull.
The Bricklayer, not terrible, he says. Aaron Eckhart as the, maybe you want to change that graphic, Albert or Kim, whoever's doing that. It still says Mayhem. Oh, yeah, just take it off.
It's all mayhem in my book.
The Bricklayer is the, so Race for Glory, Audi versus Lancia, he says pass. The Bricklayer, there it is with Aaron Eckhart, with a special set of skills.
Yeah.
Not terrible, but he also felt as though everybody, hit their marks, did everything well, just didn't quite really put it over the finish line.
We've so been here before.
Night Swim, which I was intrigued by and continue to be intrigued by. It's the premise that I feel has a lot of depth to it. Get it? See the water? Yeah. Michael says no. It's a more or less just kind of a tepid.
Tepid. I like that.
Yeah, you see what I've done? You're rubbing off on me.
Dude, seeing that they made this, I think we shoot a movie here, the water feature of doom.
Yes, I just have the water feature.
That's true.
Anyway, he can't really recommend Night Swim, but there are other scary films coming out. Maybe hang for those.
Yeah.
Michael likes the chances that the Niners have this weekend in a game that doesn't really mean anything. And anything about the Warriors?
Well, the Warriors broke my heart last night. It was one of the most disheartening games I've seen in a very long time.
There's never been anything like this.
It was awful to watch. What are you going to do? I mean, they don't have a clear-cut identity right now. Draymond Green is sitting somewhere in a rubber room trying to deal with his anger issues. The kids are great, these young players that have come to the fore. But last night, the Joker from almost half court sunk a three-pointer that won the game with no time left on the clock.
Well, that's what he does. Let me ask you one last question in the effort to squeeze you for every last bit. Phineas J. Whoopi asks, is Michael going to review Reacher Season 2?
I already mentioned Reacher Season 2 a couple weeks ago. Thank you, Phineas. Thank you for listening. My annotated list of
like that, Phineas. Sorry.
My annotated list of
a sucker.
Yeah.
My annotated list of the top 10 live-action narrative movies of 2023 is available at the current issue of the Marina Times, and anyone interested in checking it out. And that column also includes lists of 15 more terrific movies from 2023, 10 more foreign language movies I loved, and my top 5 animated movies. You need only go to marinatimes.com. It's at the top of the homepage, and it's also on the front page of the print edition, so la-di-da.
To review your top 10, 10 more.
15 more.
15 more. Then your top 10 foreign films that you liked.
And top 5 animated movies.
That is I'm going to say this, that might be the best cinema list that I've ever come across.
Except I filed the story before I could see Godzilla -1, which, by the way, was seriously amazing. So I feel like it wasn't complete But here
That
we
would have
are.
made your top 10?
Yeah, so mea culpa. Well, it would have been
would have
maybe
been-
11 or 12. I don't
Okay.
know. But anyway, what were your favorite movies from last year, Mark?
I don't think I got to the movies enough. I don't remember a lot, Michael. I'm on edibles a lot of the time when I see them. It's all, it's all a fog.
There's some terrible
Where are
films.
my
Maybe
weed
we can talk
smokers
about
at?
them. Maybe we can talk about them next week. There are some really horrible movies, I think, from last year that people should avoid.
I'll tell you what I was really one of my most anticipated films that I was disappointed by, and that was the Wes Anderson film, Asteroid City.
I agree with you.
I didn't like it. I loved its look, but I just felt it didn't.
His
and I was so looking forward to that.
His self-indulgence can be a bit much, and it was all over the map, and it didn't cohere for me either. But there
Cohere's a ding
are some really bad movies that came out last year, and that wasn't really bad. It was a noble
No, exactly.
attempt.
It was just sort of, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Wish we could stay. Love you. Looking forward to next week. He comes and goes on a rainbow. The great Michael Snyder, everybody, the culture blast.
Go Niners!
Go Niners. Bravo, Michael. Well done.